love that intro every time.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's way better than the last one, dude. The last one wasn't even an intro, but it's still.
Bro,
I got sick of that
absolutely.
thing.
I honestly, after watching that Hard Rock Nick video, he is my favorite thing that's ever happened to crypto. Like, I fucking love that guy's videos.
I don't even know him. I didn't even know who he was.
Last cycle, everyone was making videos about with this guy. Every project was like, you know how shitcoins will be like, all right, Dex is paid whatever the fuck we're running ads. Like
Hard
there
Rock
would
Nick is
be
paid.
Hard Rock Nick is paid was like a go-to for like every project. It was so fucking funny. Like there were so many like Olympus ones. Like everyone was doing one. He did a good job on this one.
He did. Yeah, he
did a good job.
It was a good one. Did you give him like a script, or how did that work?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I give him a fucking script.
I
mean, he's like crypto related, but he's not like coming up with this shit by himself.
That would have meant more. I would have thought it was cooler if he did.
No, yeah, it's a script. No, that was fun. So, I mean, I guess ETH is back.
Back.
What now? What are you thinking? Like, did this make you happy? Does this change anything for you? Is it just like a pleasant surprise?
It's nice. Like, I guess it was like bound to happen eventually, right?
Yeah.
It's still not like, I mean, it still has like not a long way to go, but it still has like more room to go to catch up with Bitcoin.
Wait,
so it's like,
you talking about like a flippening?
No, not a flippening. I'm talking about because Bitcoin's been sitting at
just like performance.
Been sitting at all-time highs pretty much for since the ETF was approved, really. Whereas ETH hasn't even come close to all-time highs yet. I mean, it's came kind of close, within 15%.
It'll be so funny if it just goes if this is just another blip and it's just steady down again, steady doing nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. Hilarious. I mean, that's how it always goes, right? People think it's different, and then it never really is different.
Like the amount of lines people put on the ETH BTC chart to highlight a bottom for the past 9 months have been hilarious.
I was probably one of those people at one point. I was really expecting it to bottom out way sooner than it did, assuming it has by now. But
yeah,
I don't know. Are you gonna start using ETH stuff now? Because we talked about this before. We just don't really use mainnet or L2s anymore.
Yeah, everything is just kind of boring these days, in my opinion. Other than meme coins, I bought a meme coin on ETH this morning. Went to 0. I mean,
so did I.
Paid $7 in gas fees. Someone in the trenches chat was like, yeah, 4 transactions, 4 different things just to buy a shitcoin on ETH.
I'm pretty sure that guy was talking out of his ass. There's something messed up with his 1 inch, because it's, I mean, yes, it is approve and then swap, but it's not 4 transactions.
Yeah. But it is pretty annoying when you've been on Solana for the last few weeks. So that was interesting. I was expecting the gas fees to be a lot higher, honestly. I thought people would be rushing to do on-chain stuff. At least that's what people on Twitter have been talking about it it's going to be.
I feel it takes time for gas to spike, though. Oh, I am? Hello?
No. I said it it's been pretty muted, gas fees.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time for gas to spike. It's still at sub 10 Gwei. I would now is probably a good time to be buying shit on chain while you still can, because if this keeps up within a week, Ethereum is going to be unusable again. Or not unusable, but it's going to cost a lot of money to use it.
Dude, watch this. Gwei was 2 2 days ago. He paid $1 for tons of transactions. That's actually insane.
If only airdrop farming was still a thing.
Yeah.
Get those to get those cheap. Well, I guess 4844.
ZK Sync is probably gonna drop soon. Did you see that?
Yeah, they announced it. It's like
Yeah.
but it's like TGE is this week, but the airdrop isn't for a month. So like we're getting a cliff basically. We're getting a month-long cliff. Is that how it works?
I haven't looked. I didn't have time to look at the details of it.
It's trading on Avo or one of the pre-launch exchanges already. I think it's at like a 10 bill FTV.
What do you think about that? They're dropping
Uh,
like a shit ton, right?
well,
That's why I'm not
they
surprised by
initially announced that
that
50% of the token was going to the community, but like it's not all going to be in the first
airdrop.
airdrop.
Yeah.
Um, what I think I'm glad this airdrop is happening so we can stop talking about ZK Sync because like
Do you not
I've
believe the whole like optimistic is like okay for now, but ZK is the future?
I don't know what I believe, honestly. And I think 99% of people don't know either. Nobody knows what the future of scaling looks like. And you can have these theses and you can try these different things. All I know is that I've been paying attention to ZK Sync for over a year and they have still failed to put out a single
Good
like
app.
novel or
Yeah.
interesting application. And like it's just unacceptable
That
at
is
this point. You can't
insane.
raise that much money and still fail to attract
But the
like
thing
a
is, you can't even
single
like the idea of like observing that, right? You'd think like, okay, like who the fuck is like the head of the ecosystem there? Like someone should find that guy. But then you realize like I mean, know a few people building on there and they all just say it's like the chain is just you can't fucking build on it. Like it just
yeah,
fucking
like
sucks.
apparently the documentation sucks or something like that.
Yeah. Which is so sad.
I all I know is that like I don't know whether you blame it on like their like BD or ecosystem guys or you blame it on their like devs or their whoever like at the end of the day it's their fault. It's the organization's fault. And like nothing no like I'll be their biggest cheerleader like as soon as I get the airdrop. But once I've sold that thing, I'm gonna go right back to like it's just like we just can't. We have to, dude. We have to hold
To
ourselves to higher
demand better.
standards at a certain point.
You know, it's funny. The
Like
guy who was like, who's that guy that was like working there, head of ecosystem or head of BD? He
the
did a
one who
whole
left to
like
start his own chain. Oh,
to
that was
so
a
yeah
founder, I think.
to do SoFon, right?
I don't remember. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
SoFon,
SoFon.
and
That's what it's called. Yeah,
they did a whole node sale
like a node sale.
before
Yeah.
before a single good app or the airdrop happened on ZK Sync itself.
I don't know what that thing is. Like
Yeah, I have no
I have no idea. I know it's like a hyper chain or
care to
something
know.
like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I just don't I don't care anymore. Like
yeah.
it's been too long at this point. Stop talking about like this ZK future. Stop talking about how like you guys are this and that. Like just ship something, you know? Like I don't like
Just
obviously
one fucking thing. What was the last thing
like
you did on
armchair
ZK
warrior and
Sync?
all that stuff, but the last thing I've done nothing productive on ZK Sync ever. Everything I've ever done on ZK Sync is either airdrop farming or I've done a little bit of shitcoining there, I guess, but
Oh yeah, yeah,
not much. On the bright side,
yeah,
I guess gas. I just did a swap and it was 3 cents for a transaction. Like that's cool, I guess. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, the same goes for all the other L2s also. It's just ZK Sync has been around the longest. It's been around the longest besides Arbitrum and Optimism, and they still have just as little, if not less, to show for it than like Scroll and Linea and Starknet.
yeah.
And it's just
There's
like
like there's a little bit of hopium or like I don't know, Scroll. Whenever I look at Scroll, I look at them as like an underdog. You just kind of want them to win. I don't know what it is, but Linea, you can imagine they do something cool with like consensus and MetaMask being involved. Like building there might be a lot better, but yeah, so super disappointing. What was the last
yeah.
L2 that you used?
Uh, Probably Arbitrum. I mean, um, I mean, I've used all of the only ones that I've ever used because I actually wanted to use them, not because I was like fishing for an airdrop, were Arbitrum, Optimism. Um, I guess you could say Scroll because I was like messing around with some stuff on Ambient on there, but it's not anything I couldn't do on any other chain. I feel like that's it. I know there is like some fun stuff on Blast, even though it like even though like there some people have some pretty strong opinions about that chain, but they say what you will, but like they have apps, you know.
Yeah, people are using it. It'd be funny if you just like, all right, no, the we're launching an L3 now. Go earn points there. Just from DAF to L2 to
I am
L3, just like a
excited.
never-ending points.
I am excited to see what Pac-Man does when because TG is planned for like June 26th now, I think. And like it's obviously not just gonna be that, right? There's gonna be like some other Ponzi after that to keep people around, and it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I've talked to some few people thinking about it as like like Parcel does like perpetual points. They lost like a bunch of TBL and stuff, but the idea of like points in perpetuity being a thing for a lot of these like applications or ecosystems, like might honestly just end up being like a never-ending cycle of like like Starbucks reward points, or you can cash them in sometimes and you can use them for other stuff other times. It's gonna be pretty annoying. It's gonna be a pretty sad reality, honestly. The
I
thing is,
I'd like to think that it eventually it winds down to people using the better app instead of using the one that rewards you marginally more. Like I feel like that's got to be at the end of the road, right? Like if everybody does
yeah,
points, if everybody does some sort of airdrop, everybody is eventually going to churn those users, right? Like you can attract obviously you can attract users for some amount of time, but they're going to leave if you have a points program or an airdrop. Unless it's like good. Those are the ones that are going to stick around unless it's worth trying out.
yeah. What was like the last? It's kind of sad that Pump.Fun was made outside of the ecosystem for how long meme coins have lived in that ecosystem. Um,
But meme coins only really like I mean what's been happening on Solana with meme coins over the past like I don't know 6 months like that never happened on ETH. Just the pure like volume and user base and just unhingedness like that never happened on ETH as far as I know. Or if it did, it like wasn't at this scale at least.
yeah, but like the grandfathered meme coins, most of them lived in like the ETH world, and there was still just
Which ones?
no like the Pepes, the Mogs, the what Shiba's on ETH as well.
Mog's not even
It's
Mog.
been a long time, dude.
I most of the like well up until like yesterday, most of those coins were like dead. Like Mog kind of had a case to be made. Pepe is obviously Pepe that has staying power. Besides that, like there's not really many unless you want to go like the Shiba route and just play it off of like pure size. I feel like there's not
Yeah,
many. I mean, like obviously base was pretty big for meme coins not long ago. People have tried to force this like Arbitrum meme coin season, which is the dumbest thing I've ever
yeah.
seen.
Fuck everybody who's ever tried that. That's been the worst thing to see
Which
on the
is
timeline,
ridiculous to
like
me.
in existence.
What was that one? What was that one that I
Don't
like called out on Twitter and like a bunch of their
fucking.
fanboys got mad at me?
I forget what it's called.
It was the one that was like so clearly manufactured. Like
Yeah.
within like an hour or two of launch, like
Oh, Boop.
Camelot had
Boop.
listed it. Boop.
Boop.
No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Boop was later. Boop was late. Was it Boop?
Boop was later.
Size. It was size. That's what it
Size,
was.
size. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
within like 2 hours of launch, Camelot had listed it.
Yeah.
Size Chad was tweeting about it. Everybody, all of like the Arbitrum like cartel, if you even want to call them that, was tweeting about it. I'm looking at it now. It's sitting out barely over 1 million market cap, and it's like
Arbitrum season, Arbitrum meme season,
people
Arbitrum meme, just like
like
shoved down your throat.
dude, if I was like a year younger in crypto, I probably would have fallen for that too. Because
Yeah.
Arbitrum is like kind of the mid curve chain of choice. And like you hop on and you see all these generally reputable or at face value reputable projects like talking about this thing. Like hell yeah, dude, I would totally buy in. But I mean, you've been around long enough and like you can just like smell the bullshit on this thing.
Yeah, it's sad, right? Like, I guess they have like purpose in willing something like that into existence to just drive like general volume in the ecosystem. But it's so obvious that it's just plain stupid. Like, I just can't imagine that they believe that anyone actually like believes them
I
uh,
feel
when they're
I feel
talking
like
about
that's the
these things.
whole idea behind meme coins is like you can't really make it happen. All that can happen is like once it is happening, you can support it and you can like virtue signal with it. But like,
Yeah,
I mean, even Ansem has tried to like kind of pump his own like Hobbs or Mitchie Cat or whatever, and like none like the ones that
Michi,
actually stick around are as organic as they come, pretty much.
yeah, Michi though I think that one has done well. But yeah, the Hobbs, the Hobbs shit. Yeah, they're
Hobbs was more so the example because that
yeah
one's like literally his cat, and he was like
are not organic. Like
kind of
even
just like
those,
pushing it to make a point out of it. Like I feel like he just wanted to prove that he could do it, and he couldn't, I guess.
yeah, it's interesting. Like it seems like there has to be greater buy-in beyond Ansem for a lot of these to succeed. Which I
I
feel
think you
like
just
the
can't have a
assumption.
mascot. Like you
Yeah,
can't have like a figure, a person like
or
leading
like
the thing
Phantom
or an
meme coin.
organization. Phantom meme coins? I haven't done anything on Phantom,
Yeah,
and
shout out to Bagel.
yeah,
Bagel's
Bagel's always talking about
deep in the
Phantom.
weeds on Phantom.
Last time I was in Phantom, I was yield farming. What was it?
I feel
Tomb,
like
which was like that
whenever
was bad.
anyone is actually supporting Phantom, that is like a local top. Like I'm pretty sure that was the last cycle top when people went from the Soul Luna Avex and then Phantom came along at the tail end. That was like the death knell. And then the last cycle, I think Bagel was like giggle long Phantom, or not the last cycle, but this last like rally a few months ago. Uh, Bagel's like giggle long Phantom, and I think it paid off for like a bit, but then it was just like the local top. Like as soon as people start bringing Phantom into the equation and start talking about this like Sonic upgrade or whatever the fuck they're doing at that point, it's a local top. That means like people have nowhere else to speculate.
Yeah, but I keep hearing Phantom come up. Like even when it first kind of like popped up on my timeline, at least like this year, it was kind of a local top, but I'm still hearing about it. That's the thing. And it's like you kind of like after a while you kind of know like who's a shiller and who like is actually doing good work behind the scenes, and it's usually
Yeah.
people who are like actually putting in work. Um,
There's a case to be
so
made for like any coin, and the Phantom ecosystem, the case to be made for that is probably better than like a lot of the ones out there. Um,
what does their
but
TVL look like? Are they like? Is it like grinding up? Is it like? I remember the same like. Well, maybe it's different for Phantom because it's already been out. But like, oh no, their TVL is dead as hell, dude.
yeah,
Well, oh my god, dude, this thing peaked at 8 billion in
I tell you,
2022.
yeah, there was so much money in Phantom back then.
It's crazy.
It was actually kind of fun. Like
The
everything was there.
the top three apps are literally like the same ones that I was using back then, like
Yeah,
Beethoven's Spooky Swap and Equalizer.
Yeah, like
And Beefy. Oh my gosh. Shout out to Beefy. Beefy's based as hell. It's just useless because yield farming sucks.
yeah.
But Beefy
They
has
always
one of the
seem like
best
cool
UXs
guys.
in crypto.
Yeah, they always seem like a cool group of dudes.
Yeah. I like Beefy. Every time I haven't talked about it in a while, but every time I did talk about it, their boys came out and supported. Dude, you know, people. What's funny to me is people like after the Eigenlayer drop or like I guess like the claim checker went live. Um, all of like the LRT governance tokens and especially Pendle like really dumped. Pendle almost went down like a full 50%, actually, like close to 40%. It looks like, and people were like talking about how like Pendle's over, and like short it from $4 or whatever. It's almost back at all time highs now, and like it's just so funny seeing these people like Pendle was never like a points thing, you know. At least
Yeah,
at first, it wasn't. That was just them adapting to like the narrative. They were
they weren't
LSD5
even
for the
points.
longest time.
They weren't even doing the point stuff when they were on the pod with us. That was like
No, that was back when they were still doing when they were still focused on like LSD-Fi and like
interest rate
the
swaps.
interest rate swaps for like the new internet, or what is it called? The like interest rate of the internet, of the information age, like that type of stuff. And like it's like at this point it doesn't even matter what the narrative is. It's just the fact because they picked up the two of those so well that like I don't even fucking care like what the thesis is right now. I just know they're gonna capture it eventually, and like
You think so? That's pretty high confidence. I mean, I like those guys.
they've
Still,
done it. They did it twice to like to be the lead player in that niche, and like twice in literally the past like year and a half. Not even that long period of time. Like sometimes motherfuckers just ship, and like you just have to trust
fair,
that they're gonna keep doing that,
fair.
and it's
Yeah,
kind of nuts. I mean, uh, I do wonder like
how they do it.
what happens next. Now, how'd they do it? I think they're just hustlers, but I do wonder like what's coming next.
Watch
Maybe
this
if we get this
Pendle
ETH run,
V3.
then LSTs will matter again.
Watch this. There's a V3 coming.
Yeah, I saw like some teasers of the white paper a while ago. I don't think there's any information out about it yet, but I'm not sure. Pendle, what else is in my portfolio? Everything kind of bounced
Oh,
back
we
pretty
haven't
hard.
talked about quantum cats.
Oh yeah,
People have
those were
started
those
slowly
were
stopped caring about Bitcoin L2s. I mean, it's still like pronounced, but it's definitely a lot more muted than it was like a few weeks, months ago.
quantum cats were
What are they at now?
they're at 0.3. But they've been like the leading ordinal in price action for like almost a month now. But everything's been kind of dying. It's just Quantum Cats hasn't. They've just held their price.
Do you still have
It's pretty encouraging.
puppets? Do you still have puppets?
Yeah, I still have puppets. I was actually just looking. I was gonna buy another, but then the transaction didn't go through. They just dumped a little bit more. Uh, it's weird. Like I don't
What are they
think
at? Dollar wise?
point 0.16. I just wouldn't expect to see an ordinal rotation this soon, especially when we just got the ETH ETF stuff. Like I think they could go lower still. I'm still holding the two that I have, but I bought those at like 0.02, so like it's no sweat.
Yeah.
I did buy a Quantum Cat at like 0.25. That one it's still fine because they've been up, but things will get sweaty if they start to dip more. Because it's a lot of fucking money for for an NFT, dude.
Any chance you like interact or pay attention to any of the Bitcoin L2 stuff?
No, um, I heard they just straight up like don't have users or like I don't know anything about
All
them.
like
I just
shady shit.
everything I've heard seems like it's too early.
Yeah. What do you think is like the signal there? Twitter
For
sentiment,
Bitcoin L2s.
TVL. Well, like when you start caring, because it clearly hasn't been like TVL. The TVL has just been obviously fake.
Yeah.
That like nobody cares to even like investigate further. Yeah, like what does it have to be? I guess it could be like a cool DApp, cool
Ye-
functionality.
I wouldn't even say a cool DApp. I would say just the DApp that performs like exactly the way it would on ETH. Like if you can just have like a Uniswap or something basic on there that performs the same way, but like carries the same trust assumptions that an L2 would on ETH, but with Bitcoin instead as the security layer, then that's probably like a good signal to start paying attention. I just don't know if I'm going to
But
get that signal because I don't hear about L2s at all.
if you're like
Bitcoin
head of
L2s.
ecosystem in the Bitcoin L2 or like even like a newer, like pick and choose whatever ecosystem you want. Like you think it's really like productive to be like, okay, let's get a Uniswap on there. Let's get like some X, Y, and Z on there for like a foundational DeFi. I almost feel like those guys should start from like a different place. Like if you're working as on something so like abstract, where you have to do so many weird pieces of like UTXO code, whatever the fuck, on Bitcoin, just to get Uniswap working, like you could find some like better alternatives or like better things just by like fucking around with it. I almost feel like they limit themselves or shoot themselves in the foot by just making like ecosystem copies because they feel like they need them for people to use them. Does that make
You're
sense?
talk you're talking about Bitcoin L2s or what
Or just like L2s in general, or L2s, or like say like move like whoever, like any other ecosystem. Like
I feel like the bar has to be a lot lower for Bitcoin though. Because if you can do all this stuff and be secured by like Bitcoin consensus,
that's all
like
you
that's a
need.
huge that like why would you ever like fuck the ETH scaling roadmap, dude? Like make it the Bitcoin scaling roadmap instead. And then just have
That's fair.
Solana for like super fast shit. Like there's ETH falls into this because ETH's whole thing is like security and decentralization, right? If you can make Bitcoin L2s with reasonable speed, like they don't have anything. Solana has speed, Bitcoin has decentralization and security. What does ETH have?
Yeah, but the security guarantees on like the way that they're building the current Bitcoin stuff is like
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure
so
they're
not
like
real.
barbaric as hell and they probably yeah, but like so are L2s, so are ETH L2s in a
Did you
way.
see? I saw some tweet. Someone was saying that all of the optimism centric L2s or some grouping of L2s are all controlled by one multi-sig.
No, I didn't see
Did you
that.
see that?
And I
I don't
think that
know.
was Cardano. I don't think that was optimism. I saw something
No,
about
no,
that
no,
with
no.
Cardano.
It was Bitcoin. I mean, not Bitcoin. It was ETH L2s. I forget what it is.
Mm, yeah,
I
I
won't
don't
be able
know.
to find it, but
I don't know. But I mean, ETH L2s are also like I love how people forget, and I love to remind people that Arbitrum went down once because the team
there was
forgot to
no
fill
gas
the
in the
sequencer with
sequencer.
gas. Like that is insane. And
Yeah.
and yet ETH people are always or I mean they were at least always spouting about decentralization and this and that. It's like I don't know, man.
Do you
Our
think
industry's kind of fucked.
the like the Gals talks a lot about the what's like consensus and going counter to that. Do you think ETH has eaten so much shit that it's now against the trend to support ETH or kind of like take that trade? Or do you think it has to get
Uh,
shit on a bit more?
I don't think ETH is like. I mean, ETH is not down that bad in terms of sentiment.
You don't
Like,
think so?
I mean, it's not great, obviously, but it's still ETH. You know,
I'm not
people were
gonna
so quick to flip on it at like one big candle, and everybody like It's not like it's nothing. It's not even 5% of what Solana sentiment was like a year ago, or I don't know, 15 months ago.
Do you think? Well, I'm not gonna say the number, but you commented in the chat with Patty actually on like percentage of allocation in ETH.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of surprised at that number. You don't think
20?
that's like a represent? You don't think that's like a representation of like how beaten I guess it is, or is it just solely
You
because of
think
like
20%
outperformance
is
of token?
low?
I mean, like if you told yourself 20% like 9, 10 months ago, you'd be pretty shocked. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
yeah,
it
that's
has to be more
true.
than 50, but I feel like back then, like the bottom range would have been like 40, to
That's
be honest.
true. That's true, but like it's not like I will like I probably bought more ETH than I did any other asset with the stables that I had over the past year. It's not a matter of like
It's
uh
just solely outperformance.
it's solely outperformance.
Yeah.
Like Solana was
Eh,
$20 like a year ago, dude, and now it's almost 200. Like Pendle's up crazy. There's a bunch of shit coins that some that you can do well on. There's AI stuff which is like
Oh
up
yeah,
crazy.
that's what we should talk
There's
about next.
there's it just like ETH didn't it just didn't hold up. If it had even been average, it would have been more than 20% today. But you know, it is what it is. And then eventually I just got tired of buying it. Eventually I just gave up. I was like, I don't want any more of this. It's not doing anything.
Yeah. Do you think? How do you feel about the AI stuff? Maybe talk a little bit about your thoughts on if you have any like the virtual episode or maybe a summary of like the AI episodes we've had on so far and the purpose
It's
for those.
it's weird. Like I don't like I understand AI stuff from a high level, like at face value, right? But I just because I'm in some chats where people talk about a lot of AI, and I see so many like newer lower cap or mid cap AI projects that like most people have never heard of, and I just have no idea how to evaluate them. Like
Yeah.
what makes BitTensor more valuable than Ritual or more valuable than IONET or than or like any of like the big ones that everybody knows. Like I could not compare the two of them to you. I can go purely based off of sentiment, which is based off of like my Twitter feed and my group chats, but like I just can't I'm just not good at like I mean I don't know enough about AI to weigh the differences between one thing and the other. Whereas like with DeFi stuff, that's a lot more natural to me. I've spent a lot more time on that. Like meme coins are easier. There's other stuff is just way easier. It's like I don't know. I know people who fucking print off of being early to AI stuff. I just don't know how to do
Shittiest
it.
AI with they don't have like any Twitter presence or anything, but they have a fucking token and it'll just do like a
Yeah,
10x.
it's
Yeah,
like
I've
I
seen a
don't
lot of
get
those
it.
guys.
I
That actually is kind of exciting when you say it like that, though. Seems like there's like something we're missing.
I'm sure there is. Yeah, like it could just be team. It could be that simple. That's what it is. A lot of the times is like you just have to find the teams who are like willing to hustle and just bet on them and wait. Besides
Yeah,
that, I don't have any clue on like I understand the long-term vision of all these things, and I understand like how the infrastructure works at a high level, but like I mean, it's not the same as like a perp dex where you can like make assumptions about different liquidity models and say this one's going to work, this one's not, this one's going to explode, this one's not going to provide good yield, like whatever. You can do that in DeFi. I don't know how to do that with AI. I don't I don't know if anyone does, to be honest.
yeah.
Like I don't really
It could
understand
be that
crypto and
nobody
AI.
does, to be honest. Like it could be that no one has any idea. But yeah, I think I need to get into the weeds more on AI shit. I've been saying that for like the last 3 months, and I just never do.
Maybe it's worth it to just try and start like when you find these like micro caps, just like meet the teams and just like make decisions based off of that.
You're fucking things up, tapping out, scrolling through Twitter at the same time.
Like it's slowing down.
Yeah, it makes you lag.
I just opened Avo. Maybe that's why Avo's probably
What are you
bandwidth
trying
heavy.
to?
No,
You trying to trade this? You think?
I was just curious what tokens they had on pre-launch. Do you want to guess which ones they have? They have 6.
This is a terrible game for me to play.
You're probably you'd get one of them maybe, or 2 of them. You could get 2 of them.
I mean, Eigen.
Eigen's one of them, yeah.
Obviously, ZK. I think.
ZK, yeah. I didn't include that one in the.
Oh, Morpheus is live. I have no fucking idea.
So they have Swell. Swell is surprising to me. Swell. They have Swell. Not only do they have Swell, but it has the most 24-hour volume by a huge margin. It's like they has 30 times more 24-hour volume than any other token.
And it's whoever.
I'm guessing it's literally a team member hedging or something.
Yeah, it's whoever runs that intern account. That's literally it's just that guy trading against himself.
Swell, Blast, ZK.
Oh, I should have gotten Blast.
IO from IONET, and then Avail. I thought Avail already dropped that token. I guess not. Yeah,
IO didn't drop.
What happened there? IO no, it didn't drop yet. They like just announced allocations for some like pre-launch interaction they had. I don't remember.
I feel like every time we do these episodes, I have to ask about like well, actually, this will be a good. I think we'll have a good answer to this. Do you care about GameFi at all? I feel like I ask you this on a recurring basis.
Oh, hell no, dude.
No, I thought you'd have a different answer.
It's tough because like.
Do you know which game I have in mind?
Which game you have in mind?
I thought you would talk about, or that I thought you would talk nicely about.
No, I don't know. Friend pet. Oh, but that's like different. Like when you say GameFi, I think of like RPGs and like games that are trying to compete with like AAA studios. Friend pet's like a mobile app basically.
But I've been seeing a lot of these new GameFi ones. They're just like they look like iPhone games. They look like really shitty iPhone games that have a token.
I've always been bearish on GameFi, and it's a shame because I've made friends with some people who are building in that space, and they're very like honest people, and they believe in what they're doing, and they're just good. They're just all around good guys.
Shout out to Ben.
But it's like I just don't get it, man. Like we've been having the same conversation for longer than I've been in the space that this is going to catch on. This is going to be a thing. And then we go and you raise 9 figures from what's there from Animoca, and you have this whole big like this whole big product launched, and like you're going to do this and that, and at the end of the day you just come up with no users. And like I think like the reason Animoca is still around.
Keep shooting for like AAA games or shoot for like the addictive.
I think
chance of virality.
Yeah, I think like mobile apps are much better suited for crypto, especially because they don't require like 10-figure valuations to build. Like indie games and mobile apps are perfect for crypto, I think. But like the fact that we just keep seeing these like blockbuster type studios come out with increasingly more seemingly impressive games and still like 0 users. It's like what are we really doing here? And I've seen
if you pull up the CoinGecko like valuation of like the GameFi category, you'll probably like kill yourself.
The thing is like I've met great people building in that space. I've also met straight up like scam artists. Some who like clearly kind of know what they're doing, or I mean, define scam artists. How do
Wait,
you know
what
what?
do you think
People just looking for an exit. People just looking for an exit.
what do you think the market cap of Immutable X is?
It's
I don't know why
probably
we always play this game.
Immutable X. Isn't that is
Or
Immutable
FTV.
X?
It's like a
Immutable X
GameFi.
is an app chain. I thought it was an NFT marketplace.
It's like a GameFi app chain.
No, it's an NFT marketplace. I'm fairly certain,
shot
and
at
it's probably in the billions if I had to guess.
It's not an NFT marketplace.
Yes, it is. Is it not? I could have sworn it was.
The
It was
leading
it's
platform for building Web3 games on ETH.
I'm pretty sure it's a StarkX chain.
Yeah.
Like
They
the
have a
same way that
ZK
DYDX
EVM.
was.
Yeah.
Is it
No.
really not an NFT marketplace? I
Powered
thought
by
it was.
Polygon.
Oh shit. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
What the fuck?
Oh my god, dude, look at this vesting schedule. Do you see when you go to their website? They started off in November of 2021 with what looks like this is probably like less than 100 million of the token circulating out of 2 billion, and it just inflates to a motherfucker until 2025. Do you see the chart I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This is crazy. They put this proudly on their front page, like as if this isn't practically
almost
criminal.
a $5 billion FTV.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Then you have Gala. That thing was like hacked. Axie Infinity still had a $1.1 billion market cap.
Axie Infinity.
Sandbox, Ronin, ApeCoin, Illuvium. I feel like everyone in
Ronin
crypto
apparently
has
has actual
Illuvium.
users. I haven't looked into it, but someone told me that there's people actually like playing on that thing.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. I find it pretty hilarious. The GameFi stuff.
Oh, the GameFi stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just I don't know. I'm like I'm happy not having an opinion on that stuff. I'm not gonna buy your tokens. Nor am I gonna like. I mean, I did kind of just hate on them for the past like 10 minutes, but I usually won't.
I'm gonna force myself to play Friend Pet though.
I don't even play Friend Pet. I just hold the token. I was playing it before, but I don't think I ever like was doing it right because I just wasn't earning good rewards. And like I would forget all the time my pet died like twice because you have to like play it. If you don't feed your pet every 3 days,
you know what,
they die.
That tells me there's a skill gap. There's a skill gap.
I mean, maybe I just hold a token and it goes up. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, like those guys. I don't know. I'd rather see Friend Pet at a crazy $1 billion valuation. I feel like that'd be hilarious to look at. But wasn't this tried with like? Do you remember Avogachis?
Was that a game?
It was like
I thought that was like an NFT or something.
It was a game.
Really?
Yeah, it was like those like where you take care of like this like pet thing. Yeah.
I don't remember that. I know I remember hearing something about that, like Avogachis, but I thought it was just like an NFT or something.
No, they have games. It's like a similar style game where there's like a. I don't know if they have their own token, but yeah, they do. But yeah, that's the only reason that made me hesitate on Friend Pet. What else? SocialFi? Fuck this Friend Tech trade, bro. I've actually been so pissed at it. I'm glad I took like half of it off and did well on like some of the meme coin stuff on Solana. But
I tried to tell you, man. I really did.
You know why I'm exiting because they're replacing the.
No, you're exiting because they have no fucking users.
No,
you're exiting because their 10 minutes of fame came and went.
So
there was no reason for that app to
so
be.
Happy
there was no reason for that app to be popular again. You know why they came back into like. You know why they came back into the spotlight? It was because
Because
people had a
Razor's
bunch of
tweeting.
Friendtech points sitting around, and Friendtech was like, let's just give all of our token away. And like, you can afford to give all your token away when you charge 20% per transaction. You don't need a token allocation at that point. And they already made millions up to that point. They had already made so much fucking money. So like, it was probably just the last, like a Hail Mary. It's like, oh, like we got to do something radical to get people to use our platform a couple more times so we can get some more
Make
of
what
these
we would have
these
gotten.
transaction fees. So they shipped an
Yeah.
unfinished V2 and dropped 100% of the token, and it is what it is. I mean, I hope people like learn from that. I'd like to think it was a net positive in the long run because the app was fun for a while. People did enjoy it. People made a lot
You're
of money
making me
off of
want to
it
keep the
too.
trade on. I'm gonna be honest.
Keep the trade on if you want. It's your. I mean, at this point, it looks like everything's just gonna go up for a while. So like, you're
Yeah, I don't
probably
know.
just gonna underperform if anything.
Speaking of my portfolio, I still have my BitBear.
You still have your BitBear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking
What
at the
is
chart again recently. People were like, there were really only a few sales at like 6 ETH, but kind of wish I had that 6 ETH.
Yeah. I don't want to FUD the bears in public, and it's hard to express that
Yeah,
argument without
no,
people thinking you're bearish on Bearchain, which I'm not. I just think the NFTs are like I just
no,
think
no.
people
I think
holding
no.
or buying those things are.
I think that's a valuable. No, I think you should share. I think you should share the thesis you have on like just the rewarding of NFTs if you want. I
I
think that's a
just
pretty valuable piece.
it's
You can remove bear chain from the equation. I mean, fuck, dude, we can
no,
say whatever
yeah,
the
no,
fuck
I
we
have
want.
to. No, no,
Like,
no. I don't have a problem. I don't have a
it's a
problem
fuck.
saying it. It's just like the general premise is that with an NFT collection, you will eventually overpromise and have to underdeliver. Like it's just the nature of the way those things work. You're going to be left with like if you do it well, end up in that position because your floor price is going to pump. And this only happens if there's a team behind the thing, obviously, right? That's why it never happened to punks. That's why it like is less likely to happen to Miladies. If there's a team behind it and there's a promise behind it, eventually you're going to underdeliver because the team didn't ask. Bearchain never asked for Bong Bears to be worth fucking hundreds of ETH or however much they are. Um, and now and now it's just up to them to deliver on that price. And like, I
But
mean,
my I'll add to this. It's not only up to them. Like there are like ways to reward those people through apps in the ecosystem as well to like make
yeah,
up for that. So
yeah.
there's
And
that aspect as well.
I'm sure there will be. Like if you want broad exposure to Bearchain, there's obviously like no better way to get it than one of those NFTs. But they're already so expensive, dude. Like what is the upside at this point? At best, you're getting a 1-to-1 or maybe a 2x on your Bear tokens in ETH terms, and then you're hoping that other ecosystem projects make up the difference for what you lost out from not having that capital in Bitcoin for the past 5 months or whatever, which has like severely outperformed it and will continue to. It'll only become more apparent when the token drop happens, I think, because
Do you think
the token's gonna be vested, or it's gonna be not as much as people think, or like they just can't.
do you
Like
think it's
best
the
best case
price of
scenario
it
is
being
like a liquid
overcrowded?
2x. Uh yeah, I
Do you
mean,
think that's
yeah.
what caused the issue?
Yeah. I mean the the bit bears aren't like they're 5 ETH for a reason. Like it definitely is
Or
overcrowded. They're 3.5 ETH. I mean
fuck.
still an insane price tag for what is like the fifth or sixth rebase in this collection.
Yeah.
Like if we were like 2 or 3 notches down, then it's like okay, maybe. But this is nuts, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. If anything, though, I don't know of any ecosystem that has had more hype or more eyes on it before it's like actually a thing, which is like a double-edged sword in itself. Um,
I mean,
the
Monad's
trade
pretty
could be
pretty
over.
high up there. Monad and
Yeah,
Blast are both pretty high up there. Blast didn't have very good apps prior to launch, though. I feel like.
I will say a lot of the apps on Bearchain were initially disappointing, but I think like there are some that I am excited about. Um, that I think have a lot of support from the Bearchain ecosystem, which I think is it's nice to see. My biggest pet peeve were people that were in that ecosystem that became like quote unquote leaders of that ecosystem, just spitting up bullshit and making like a bag. That was my biggest like annoyance with the Bearchain ecosystem. But yeah, it's hard. I've enjoyed that ecosystem. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
I think I'm
I'm
just
not
gonna eat
bearish on the
shit and
ecosystem. I'm not bearish on the ecosystem by any means. I'm bearish on a specific trade within it.
yeah, yeah. And the same could be said for like a Bad Lads. You know, the guy.
Yeah, that
The,
one's a rough one. Kind of just stuck bag holding there for now. But I don't really
yeah,
care. I've paid that thing off like 5 times over for what I paid with the airdrops. It's not a big deal at all. And also it's still outperformed Soul, which is like more
yeah,
than most people can say.
yeah.
But also it's like over
Let's
a
see.
year, over a really long time.
What else happened? We got like 7 minutes left before this auto ends.
Hmm. I don't
Oh,
know.
how you actually passionately hate the fact that society has embraced Pump.Fun. Like you you hate that shit with a I've actually enjoyed it more recently than I originally started off as. It is like pretty ruthless, but it is also pretty fun. Curious, maybe Alan or Alan or I can't remember his name. Um, we should get him on the podcast sometime. But the maybe there are tweaks he can make to the app. You have any requests, or you just generally
Shut
you
it
said you were
down. Shut
disappointed.
it down. Take your fees and go. Or a launch a token or whatever you need to do. Just keep.
I
The
remember
thing is,
your message was hilarious. You were just like disappointed in society for like having this
it's like
be a
one of those
very
things where they
successful
they like they
application.
never asked if they should. They just did it, And like here we are now with 20,000 tokens being made each day, and like each one like more brain dead than the last. No barrier to entry. Anyone can go. A toddler could go in there and launch a meme coin if they wanted to, and like
But are they gonna pay
and
for Dex? Are they gonna set up a TG?
it's not even
Are they gonna?
Pump Fun's fault. It's our fault because we're the
Yeah,
ones who go and trade on it. Like we're the ones who
yeah.
made it a meta. I avoided it for the longest time.
You gotta admit
It's
though, it's
it's
pretty
it's just
fun.
the nature. It's just the nature of the interest. It's not. I do not enjoy it. I'll be honest.
No, fair.
No, I mean I like shitcoining. I don't like playing on Pump Fun though. Like it just I mean I'm probably biased because like I saw it and I
It's
immediately
nice.
hated it. So
It's nice knowing that like the contracts are safe to interact with though,
yeah, it's good
past
not
a
having
certain
to like
milestone.
deal with most like complicated runs you don't
Honeypots
really
and
have
shit
to
like
deal
that.
with.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah, but I mean I just I don't know, man. It's not an issue of Pump Fun or like the product or anything. It's an
It's
issue
a
of like
societal issue.
it's an issue of like who we are. And like I
Yeah,
say we because
you're part of the
like I'm
problem.
not exempt, like I'm here doing the same thing everyone else is.
Yeah.
It's just
It, last thing I don't know. We're probably gonna try and do these once a month now. We always say that, but for whenever we say this next, give give the totally not financial advice Definitely, actually, 100% not financial advice, not legal. The thing will be in the description, disclaimer, whatever the fuck. You want to give some calls for whatever time frame, week, month. Let's do month. Do month, and you can group in narratives. Doesn't have to be token.
I'm
You want me
just
to
now
give you a
realizing
second?
like, no, I mean, I got something, but like, I'm just realizing like, I don't really trade anymore. It's kind of nice. Like, I open up my CoinGecko. I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holdings on here, and I just
Yeah.
watch them go up. Like, I don't really have to do anything. I mean, yeah, I do shit coining, and like, there's some stuff outside of those, but like for the most part, I don't really have to like trade or think about this like month to month or week to week stuff anymore. I kind of just like this stuff. Half of this will be gone by the end of the year, I would hope, or like gone as in like sold into stables. Besides that, like I don't
What do you
plan
mean?
on,
What is this
doing much
stuff?
else.
Oh,
My
like
portfolio.
your positions.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would rather sell too early than too late or not at all. So I'm probably gonna play it more careful. But calls, I think AI is in a good spot to do well. Uh, Tau still has a lot of room to run back up to all time highs, whereas like other AI tokens are kind of already there, and Tau is still Tau. Nothing has changed there. Um, what else? What
I'm,
else?
I'm
What
gonna
other?
say I'm gonna say that the I will say definitely. I don't want to say definitely don't buy a bit bear, but yeah, I'm not gonna do a bit bear one. I think you could be pretty certain that ETH BTC. I'm gonna be one of those guys. I think you could say the bottom is in there.
I think if that happens, then DeFi is gonna run.
I don't think so. I still don't think
You don't
so.
think you don't
I
think
still
DeFi
don't
is
think
gonna
so. I
run?
still refuse to have any DeFi tokens.
I'm not gonna hold any. Hell no, but uh, like they have to run at some point. Like there's like a week where it will be profitable to hold DeFi only for that week. Obviously, like not for any other period of time, but uh, yeah, uh,
Do we have like
it's obviously
30
not like a
seconds
good
left?
hold. Obviously not like a good hold. I mean, no, I do think DeFi could have its little run soon, sometime within the next month or two. Especially like perp dexes. Perp dex volume is still fucking insane, and people just don't really talk about it because it's not like sexy.
Quick,
But
quick, quick, quick,
that
quick,
will
quick.
still. I don't know if I have another. I don't know.
I'm gonna play the fuck out of friend pet.
L ones, L
I think
ones.
people should play friend pet.
That would be nice for
And
me.
then say for the monad trade. All right, that's episode fucking 74.
74. Is
Peace.
that
Peace,
really what it
peace.
was?
I think so.
Yeah.